Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Eli neshamas Mordecai. Mordecai is here. Mo Kriegsman, somebody else. I want to thank you for all your errors that you put into everyday share. Every day I'm excited to learn the daf. It's the first time I've had a consistent seder in 8 years. I haven't had such a geschmack in learning for as long as I can remember. I started share with Rosh Hashanah. I made it my first siyum since I left the yeshiva because of my commitment to the daf. It's incredible to find myself learning in all places I've never learned before. At a wedding, on vacation, just enjoying the morning. I'm looking forward to finishing shots together. Mo Kriegsman. Here he is. On vacation. Beauty. Early in the morning. From Akiva, fine. It's not about the daf. It's about the Jayme. I don't know if you can see. There's some artists in town. Gee, Akiva. I should say, get over here. Get over here. But he's with the mask, the whole thing. Come on, come to the front. Nathan Ganut. This is a photo of my boys, Kalman and Eli, celebrating their siyum. Besides for the pure nachas I had from them, it gives us time to really bond. I see huge... Good morning, sir. Hold on a second. How are you?
I'm good.
It's a beautiful job.
Did a lot last night.
Yeah? All right. Shkoyach. How long did it take you?
About an hour.
An hour! Wow. You know, I'm a lot better looking than this.
I tried. It's hard.
Go back and redo it. I don't know. It's like a little...
I'll do it. I'll read it.
No. Shkoyach. I see a huge difference in the behavior since we started. Rabbi side behavior. If you have issues with your kids' behavior, give them the daf. For that, I owe you a huge thank you. They're better behaved children. Unbelievable what the daf does. Pinchas Akilov. Good morning. Good afternoon. I'm very happy when I need to watch my children. Where's Hillel? He didn't like that. Watch his children. It's your job. They're very interested in the video as well. Thank you very much. Rabbi say enough with the Sesame Street, enough with all the shtosim. Here it goes. Daf Yomi for 1-year-olds. It works. Doesn't matter what's on the screen as long as it's something. What do we have here? Here it is in St. Ives. Ives. Is that how you pronounce? Ives. St. Ives in Sydney. We had a huge siyum, 40 people. Proud to use the MDY Gemaras. Attached 2 pictures. Hillel Friedler. 40 people. There are more pictures. Shkoyach in St. Ives. Wanted to share Baruch Hashem, Yiddish Nachas on the way to Texas. Hashem is Baruch should give you koyach and atzlach to continue your holy work, both ruchnis and gashmis. Thanks, Ben Lachman. On the plane. Do we have more time? Okay, 1 or 2 more. Oh boys, so listen to this. Avram Yishia Schneck, his brother's making a chasana yesterday in Square Town. New Square, next to Muncie. New Square. He calls up the caterer, he says, I want to set up a stand. Now, you know, Chaim Twerski is the one that started this with his daughter, and he explained to us the reason why he acted a little weird. China Hall, what? That's in Square. But Chaim Twerski did it at his daughter's. I want to give Ishkar to Chaim Twerski. Why? Because he broke Peretz Chaim Levin. He broke the ice. He did something mishuga. He explained why. He said that his daughter got engaged. He believes it's because of MDY. So he wanted to give back to MDY. So at the Vart, he put up a stand. Comes this person, another guy. Once it's broken, it's broken. He wants to set it up at his brother's chassan. He calls up the caterer. The caterer says, Eli Stefansky, I want to join. I heard about it. Let me join also. So he joins. He says, I want to do 2 stands, the caterer says. So here it is. At his brother's chasana, in New Square, a really Hasidish Haimish Yid sets up a stand. And Be'ezer Hashem, Menachem Mendel just came over to me before Shir. He says he also wants 2 stands at his son's Kiddush, this Shabbos and B'nai Yeshivas. So we're going to Be'ezer Hashem set him up. Yehуда Tzvi, come, get over here. You did a beautiful job. You weren't here yesterday in the morning. You learned beautifully. Tzvi, how many years are you doing this year with us?
Since the beginning.
Since the beginning of Shas?
Brachas.
So Shabbos Daf Pei. What steht dort? What? Beis Hashem tomorrow. Mazel Tov, everybody. All right, these all are going to have to wait for a different time. The Koil sponsor is anonymous this month. Lirfuah Yedidiנו Shalom, Baruch, Yehуда ben Mלכה Faige. Maseches Moed Katan is dedicated to Kessler and Davis families. Refuah shleima for Miriam Esther Devora bekorov. Michael and Jayme Benmeleh in memory of Devora Faige Shmuel, Menachem Mendel ben Elchanan. May the neshamas have an Aliyah. Hashem bring Mashiach bekorov. Mordecai Y Holtz in honor of Azi's turning bar mitzvah today. You guys remember Azi? See, that's why I did these pictures, so we get to know. Azi's that kid that had surgery and he still was able to do the daf. So Azi's bar mitzvah is today. His third siyum with MDY may grow in learning Yirat Shamayim and Ruchniut. L'zech neshamas going to Rav Chaim Twerski Zt, whose 6th yard side is today by Talmud Muvak Peretz Chaim Levin. I didn't even notice this. Okay, so we spoke about Peretz Chaim Levin twice today. By Chaim Twerski, I believe it's that Gewaldike email that I read a while back about leaving Koilel and being embarrassed in the beginning to do Daf Yomi, but now he's doing it for the first year of my Zaydi, Rabbi, Dr. Abraham J. Twerski, Zechet Tzadik Levracha, Rav Avram Yeshua Heschel, Ben Rav Yankev Yisrael. If you remember, I think those 3 Gedolim were nifted like in the same day, the same. Rav David Soloveitchik, and Rabbi Yitzchak Shiner, and Rabbi Twerski, all on the same day. Yisrael Meir Silver, in honor of Alan Blecher for finishing Megillah and making his first siyum in his life. Mazel Tov, Alan Blecher. By David Sharman, in honor of the bar mitzvah, the Shabbos of Gabriel Sharman from London. By Nachman Seltz and his family, in honor of the bar mitzvah of Mitanal Baron, for my older brother. You weren't here, so I got a lot of stuff going.
Remember I wasn't here, you were talking about it.
Hello, who told you Lashon Hara? You Makabel? You for sure didn't hear. You for sure didn't hear.
I knew you did.
Check it out on video. Let's see. For my older brother, Matisyo Tuvio Ben Pinchas Nachum, Bekaren Ilana, and a Refuah shleima for Ken Ilana Bas Rachel. Amen. The boy say a shtickle got the staff. Very geschmack daf. Moed Katan, daf test. We're holding 2, 4, 6. Things happen since by the way, if I'm late, if I don't finish the daf, now we know whose fault it is. The entire Masech I'm on time here. Udei ma'arvim simcha b'simcha minolan. How do you know? That's really good. We're good. No more. Udei ma'arvim simcha b'simcha minolan. So we finished off yesterday the idea of you can't mix 2 smachas together. You can't get married on Chol Hamoed because you can't mix a simcha with a simchas hayantiv. How do you know this? By the Chanukas Hamikdash, when they inaugurated the Beis Hamikdash, Vayash shleima be'isahiyas achag, he made a special celebration. V'chol Yisrael imoy, Chai Yisrael was with him. Kahol gadol, tremendous amount of people. Melavei Chamos, from Chamos ad Nachal Mitzrayim, Livnei Hashem Elokeinu. How many days? Shivas yomim v'shivas yomim. 7 plus 7, arba'as or yom. 14 days. So the Gemara at the end is going to tell us that this is double. It says Shiva plus Shiva, Arba'asar. It should just say Arba'asar. What's 7 plus 7? V'mi so the ma'arvim simcha b'simcha iboyle leminta adachad u'mevet shiva la'acha. I don't understand. Let him just wait until Yontif, until Sukkot, and let him just knock it all out in one shot. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Why do you have to do 7 plus 7? Zok the Gemara v'dimma minta le'inatrinan. What's forcing us to say that that's what happened, that you can't be married of simcha b'simcha? Maybe it happens to be that Shlomo Melech finished the inauguration of the Beis Hamikdash 7 days before Yontif. So you had 7 days of a party, and then 7 days of Yontif. How do you know that's because of a married from simcha b'simcha? He had to do its own individual part. Maybe that's when it finished. Says the Gemara, because if that's the case, who forced him to finish the Beis Hamikdash? He could have left over a little corner somewhere and wait until Sukkot, and then like 5 minutes before Sukkot, finish it and say, now we're going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We're going to do a party and we're going to have Sukkot together. Because he didn't leave that little spot is a raya that because he has to save. Let's save. Says the Gemara, it's not something you do. It's not appropriate to not finish the Beis HaMikdash. What about all the korbanos we have to bring? What about all the stuff that needs to get done? So because you want to save money in a party, so that's why you're going to push it off for a week. He finished it. Let's go. Says the Gemara, but so Kal Yorev, we had different pshatim. Rashi over here says Kal Yorev means that there's an amma, one amma, that the rooftop of the Beis HaMikdash ends with the amma. Other places we learned in Yuma, basically Kal Yorev is anti-raven devices, because we didn't want the ravens to sit on the Beis HaMikdash. We know here from Israel, Manhattan, different places, you know what kind of damage they could do when they hang out on your roof. That's pigeons, but whatever. It's not bekorov for the Beis HaMikdash to have birds hanging out on. So this is part of it. Now, this is more of a device. Imagine it's like a laser that shoots them away. It's not part of the building. So on the one hand, they could have just not finished the Beis HaMikdash completely. That's bekorov. I finished everything. The anti-repelling raven devices that we'll put on later. That's not not a bekorov thing for the Beis HaMikdash. Says the Gemara, Amo Kal Yorev Tzorch Bin Rabaisu. No, that's all part of it. It was part of the plan when HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us the design, the architectural plans. Robert Links is here with us, Baruch Hashem. It's a Friday. No, he comes on Fridays. The in-house architect. The architectural plans included the Kal Yorev. It's part of it. So Menmeleh, I cannot not finish it, and if I don't finish it, that means I didn't finish the Beis HaMikdash. Again, it's a chesar in what I'm doing. It's a bizarre for what I'm doing. There was a couple on a date, first date ever. They're sitting somewhere, eating, schmoozing. All of a sudden, a raven sits down right next to them. So what do you do if a raven sits down next to you? You run to Reb Chaim Kanievsky. Say, what's going? Is this a bad omen? What's going on here? That's Reb Chaim Kanievsky. A nasty, giant, ugly, looking at them. Maybe it means a siman hashamayim. So Reb Chaim Kanievsky said, yeah, it's a siman that you forgot to close the window. In other words, I think you're saying, don't worry about shtuyot. Okay. Zog the Gemara. Ella. So what's the raya that you don't mix a simcha with a simcha? Ella the miyatikra. Since there's an extra pasuk here. The Torah tells us the final amount is 14 days of a simcha. Shivas yamim lamali. So then why does the Torah break it up? 7 plus 7. The 7 of the simcha, the 7 of the yantav. The Torah is telling us that it happens that, Gary, I'm just curious, is that the color that's going on? Because it's not a good color, whatever that is. I guess he has better things to take care of. Gary?
I heard you.
Oh, okay, fine. So the Torah is telling us, yeah, it's Yantif, but the Yantif is not part of our Simcha. The 7 days of a Simcha, and that has nothing to do with the Yantif. Yes, the total amount of days that they were celebrating eating meat and drinking wine was 14, but it's 7 of the Simcha and 7 of Yantif. Imagine, the Simcha was so great that there was no Yom Kippur that year. And they ate and they drank and they were b'simcha g'dayla. Why? Because we have a new Beis HaMikdash. But they were very concerned. Maybe maybe the enemies of Klal Yisrael. In other words, it's always a lashon akiyah. Maybe the enemies of Klal Yisrael deserve to be destroyed because they ate on Yom Kippur. Don't worry about it. You're all getting olam haba. What you did was a mitzvah. My darush. What was the back and the forth? So this is the Mishkan. This was the temporary structure that they had in the midbar, but they knew it's temporary. This is Skila. Migdash, the Beis HaMikdash, that's forever. And it's a carbon tzibur. And the einish is kares lekolshkein. So let me show you what I did over here just to make it simple. It's not that confusing, but I think it's better in a picture. Gary. Yeah. You have here the Mishkan. Opposite the Mishkan, you have the Beis HaMikdash. This is Kal. This is a Kal v'chaymer. This is temporary. This is permanent. This is Kal. You only bring a carbon for the Yachid. Oh, I forgot to give him his Yarmulke. I really wanted to give him a Yarmulke. This is a Nasi. This is a Chashav person. But I'm saying, just to describe, it's a Yachid. And over here, it's a sheep. Here, they got the Yarmulkes. And the Tzitzis, of course. This is a sheep for the Tzibur. It's more Chamer. It's for the community. See, this is more Chamer. This is more Chamer. But guess what? This, right over here, this is Shabbos. And Shabbos, you get skila. You get stoned. This is serious stuff compared to this easy thing. This is what you get a einish on Yom Kippur. If you are over on Yom Kippur, you don't get stoned, you don't get physical misa from a bezin. Hashem will take care of you. You don't live past 50 or whatever it is, whatever Karas is. This is more chomer than this. So if these two easy guys overcome a very strong one of stoning, so these two heavy duty ones certainly should overcome the easy einish. You should be, if you're mechalel Shabbos, you certainly should be mechalel Yom Kippur. That's why they ate on Yom Kippur. If this overcomes Shabbos, which is serious stuff, you get stoned by a bezdin, that's a very serious misa. So certainly the chamor, the carbon of the tzibur, is doicha, the lesser einish. So let's see it inside now, because there's different steps here. The Mishkan doesn't last forever. The carbon yachid, and it's the carbon of the nasi, yet it's doiches Shabbos, this is skila, it is able to push away a very serious isur, migdash. So the Beis HaMikdash, the Kedushas Olam lasts forever. Especially the Harabayas. Or if we didn't do Averis, it would last forever. It wasn't built as a temporary structure like the Mishkan. It was built forever. We have Averis, so we got rid of the Beis HaMikdash. Hashem got rid of it. So certainly the carbon tzibur, and it's a communal carbon. Yom Kippurim donish kares, and that's a lighter isur, right? We always say Shabbos is more chomer than Yom Kippur. Like Holshkein, certainly it should overdo the Yom Kippur. So it's a beautiful Baruch atah Yedidiנו Shalom Shakoin Devora. So it's a beautiful. He likes to hear himself in the whatever. So then, what if they made a beautiful kavachomer? Why were they so concerned? Says the Gemara, Hasam Tzarech Gavaya. By the Chanukas HaMishkan, the carbon went for Hashem. But over here, who was eating? They were benefiting themselves. They were partying on Yom Kippur. It was their own benefit, their own simcha. They were concerned. As the Gemara, but who told them to eat on Yom Kippur? Let them do everything. Let them celebrate without eating. And simcha that doesn't exist. You want to have a real party, you have to eat and drink. As the Gemara Mishkan, the Daki Shabbos Menolan. And how do you know, in fact, this right over here, that the Mishkan pushed off the Isser Skila? Says the Gemara. So here, these are one of the most famous psukim in the whole Torah. Everybody knows these psukim, right? It says Bayom HaRishon, and then afterwards it says Bayom HaSheni, Bayom HaShlishi, Bayom HaShvi. So somewhere in there's a Shabbos that they brought a carbon and pushed off Shabbos. It just goes in order, right? Bayom Rishon, Bayom Sheni, Bayom Shlishi, Bayom Shvi, Shmini, Shmini, Ashtei Asar, Shneim Asar. There's no break. Says the Gemara, that's not a good raya. Dilma Shvi lekarbanos. Who told you that Bayom HaShvi means Shabbos? Maybe Yom HaShvi is the 7th day of them bringing carbon, and there was in fact a break in middle. Because by the 11th day, and it's amazing. Look at this. This pasuk Amud Beis goes all the way 72 psukim, more, many more. So it says Bayom Yom. Ma Yom Kulei Ratzuf. It's a double lashon. It says twice the word Yom. So a day is Ratzuf. It's consecutive. We learn from here that it was consecutive The first day, the second day, they didn't take any breaks. So when it says the 7th, the 8th, it was on Shabbos. Otherwise, why did the Torah say, It should say, Nasi livnei asher. It's a complete extra word to tell us this drasha. Says the Gemara, V'dilma yomim haruin. Maybe it's not, again, who told you? Who forced you? Maybe it's talking about the 11th day that was right for a carbon, not including Shabbos. Says the Gemara, that can't be except Kurachmina be Yom Shnei Masar. The following pasuk, Yom, again, there's an extra Yom. Ma Yom Kuli Ratzuf, Av Shnei Masar, Yom Kuli Ratzufim. So because we have these two extra words, Yom, we have the limud. V'dilma achanami Yom Aruim, Im Kein Trei Kroi Lamali. You don't need two pasukim to say the same thing. Umigdash Ledoicha Yom HaKippur Menalan. And how do you know that this up here, the Beis HaMikdash, once we already had it, it pushes off Yom Kippur? Because Shlomo HaMelech did a party for 14 days, and what's before Yom Kippur? 5 days before Yom Kippur is Sukkot. Is from Sukkot. 5 days before Sukkot is Yom Kippur. And we know that 7 days of Sukkot. And 7 days before Sukkot. So the 7 days before Sukkot included Yom Kippur. V'dilma, says the Gemara, who says? Maybe it's 14 days, not including Yom Kippur. And Yom Kippur is not one of them because you couldn't bring a carbon. You couldn't eat that. You see from the Mishkan that it's Ratzuf, it's consecutive, it's one after another, including Yom Kippur. We saw in the story before, a koil came out and said, "You're all welcome to Olam Haba." And how do we actually know this? The Tani Tachlifa, so they left Shlomo HaMelech on the 8th day, and they gave him a bracha. The Gemara is going to darshan every pasuk. They went back to their tents. Smeichim, they were happy, joyous. Their hearts were all happy. All the favor that Hashem did. They came back. Every single person found his wife b'tahara. Smeichim sheneheru miziv hashchina. True simcha, hana from the shchina. Everybody had a boy. As soon as I was learning this, I was like, wow, this is a major shidduch crisis. If there's only boys that year, a year later, only girls. That's what I thought. You have to say that. You have to stick in. It's obvious. Something happened. Maybe each one had a twin. Who knows? So you see over here, Rabbi Yochanan didn't just make it up. It's meduik in the pasuk. Don't worry about it. It's all good. You're concerned that you ate on Yom Kippur. Don't worry about it. You're all going to Olam Haba. To David's servant. Hashem forgave the so to speak aveira that they did on Yom Kippur, that they ate on Yom Kippur. What did Hashem forgive David? We had this in Shabbos. If you're with us from Shabbos, you remember the story from Shabbos. Daf Pei. Is it Daf Pei? I think it is. Shabbos Daf Lamed, but later on it's Daf Pei. Something else Daf Pei maybe. No, this is not. Where does the Aron go? In the Kodesh HaKadoshim, the holiest of the holy. He's trying to put the Aron in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. The doors stuck together, they wouldn't open. Rashi says, it says Rina, Tchina, Tfila, Bakasha, 24 Lashonas of Tfila, and Hashem didn't answer him. Pasuk V'Omer, Su Shorim Sheichem, V'Loinana, nothing. Kivin Sha'omar, Hashem Alikim, Al Toshef Pnei Mishichecha, Zochro L'Chazdei, David Avdecha. By the way, I got in trouble because of you. Somebody wrote me an email. Why am I insulting you? I don't want to write him back, but it's the Kavod HaTorah. The Kavod HaTorah. There's a certain order here. Certain people sing, certain people don't, and those who get out of order, I got to put them into place. I'm telling you, Bemis. So Moshe, don't write me in again. So when Shlomo HaMelech mentioned his father David and said, do it in Schus David, and he had all the enemies, Shaul HaMelech's family, screaming and crying, look what this guy did, and who said he has the right to be the king? He's a no good Nick. When Hashem opened up the Kodesh HaKadoshim, when he said the word David, it was over. Checkmate. No one could say a word about David HaMelech. They can't say, oh, he sinned with Bathsheba. David Chatan and Elataya, all the Gemaras. It was a Shiloh. What did he do? Was he over? Was he not over? Here was a raya. Hashem said, I'm opening up the Kodesh HaKadoshim, the holiest of the holy, in schus of David HaMelech. V'yadu hakol shemachal HaKadosh Baruch Hu Eloisa Avon. Everybody, Shimon Begeris family, says Rashi, Shul's, there's no questions anymore. Rabbi Yodas ben Amsai, Asmai, Rabbi Yehuda ben Gerim, Tono Parshas and Darim. They were learning, says Rashi over here, there's different Rashis. It's not so clear that this is the main Rashi. I think the art scroll actually goes with Saviyad Rashi. If I'm not mistaken, it keeps on bringing it as if that's the main pshat. So it could be, they hold that this is not, I didn't look in the front of the Rashi, I should have really read. But anyway, over here, on the page over here, Rashi says, the Masechta of Nadarim. Others say means the Parsha and the Torah. Anyway, Masechta is Nadarim. The learning by Rashbi, by Rav Shimon Bar Yochai. So they said goodbye to him at night. In the morning they came back. Didn't you say goodbye to me at night? You already did it once. We remember what you taught us. You yourself taught us. If we don't go, there's some sort of ikuv, a delay in the trip, and we have to redo it tomorrow. We have to go back to the Rebbe and say goodbye. From these psukim, he said goodbye to them. The next day, which is the Chodesh Shvi, the Tishrei, Shilach Hasam. What happened? Didn't they go the day before? Since they weren't able to do it, they have to go back to the Rebbe. Amalei Livrei. So Rav Shimon Bar Yochai tells his son, not exactly sure if it's a Lazar, I don't know, his son. Bnei Adam Alalu Anoshim Shel Tzura. These are Tamid Chachamim. You want to get a bracha? Go to these people. They know their stuff. They remember what we taught them. Fine. I forgot where I saw it. I saw that Rav Shimon Bar Yochai knew that they shouldn't go. He saw that it's not a good mazel for them to go at night. But he didn't want to say anything. You don't mix into these things. When he saw that they are not going, and he asked them why, he chapped that they themselves also realized this. And once he saw that they realized this, then he asked them for a bracha. Anyway, so he goes to ask for a bracha, the son of Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, and he sees that I'm mistama, it's not Rebbe Lazar, because otherwise it would say his name. I don't know. So they were asking a contradiction in the psukim. Siv, palais magal raglecha v'chol drochecha yikainu. Palais, you have to. Oh, I had a very good picture. I forgot to print it. Okay, you have to measure each mitzvah. Says Rashi, when you have a greater mitzvah, do the greater mitzvah. You have two mitzvahs in front of you. You didn't start any of them. What should you do? Learning Torah or lulav, whatever it is. You do the greater mitzvah. Uksiv, but it says in the other pasuk, oirachaim pentafalis. You shouldn't measure. Do the smaller mitzvah. Says the Gemara.
Do the first mitzvah. Do the first mitzvah, not the smaller. Whatever comes out.
Whatever is there. Look at Rashi before we turn the page. Rashi, last words. You do the greater mitzvah. Let them do the smaller one. So let's say you're Hatzalah guy and you're doing the daf, you're learning Torah. If somebody else could do it, somebody else could take the call. You let them take the call. Like Shmuel, he was able to learn the daf. Let somebody else go collect money. It's better. Let somebody else collect money. We're turning to Daf Amud Beis, b'mitzvah. If no one else could do it, then you do it. If you can't, nobody else is there to do the mitzvah, you do it. We just turned to Daf Amud Beis, sponsored by Moshe Horn and Woody Wyman as a schos from Morty Moskowitz, sponsored in honor of Rebelli, wishing him Hatzlacha and all his endeavors, both in Gashmis and Ruchnis. I think I know who it is. Yosef, I'm going to have to ask you, have to share. Somebody from Chicago? That's a yes. Okay, thank you. That's what I thought. Says the Rambam. Why is Limanat Torah before the other mitzvahs? Say Shkula. We'll see in a second. Actually, you could go on the next thing. Let's say it later when we say Torah. So, how did Yasif become a Bailey? So here's Reb Shimon Bar Yochai's son waiting for bracha. He sees these two Talmid Chachamim arguing and learning, and they ask a question. Torah is greater than all jewels. And chavatzecha, your mitzvahs, lo yishvu ba, they don't add up. Nothing adds up to Torah. Ha chavtzi shamayim yishvu ba. So sorry, v'chol chavatzecha. Again, let's say it again. Yikari ribni v'chol chavatzecha lo yishvu ba. The Torah is greater than all Jews. V'chol chavatzecha, your stuff that you need to do, chavatzecha, your whatever it is, taking care of the car, lo yishvu doesn't come close. Ha chavtzi shamayim yishvu ba. It seems like mitzvahs are equal. Nothing compares to Torah. So again, Torah is the greatest mitzvah. And if somebody else could take care of other stuff, let them take care of it. Let them be the Chaver Kedisha, let them take care of the Tzedakah, let them take care of all that. Tzala calls, you have to learn Torah. Torah is more important. Torah is more important. But if nobody else could do it, you're the only Tzala guy in call. Or like in Bar Park, Baruch Hashem, all that Tzala guys are learning Torah. So who's going to take the call? So you have to jump in and take a call. This, I think, is the gem of the day, outside of the learning. I want to tell you this Vart. I love this Vart from Shlom Zaman Auerbach. Shlom Zaman Auerbach has a kasha. Why did it say Pninim? Torah is more valuable than Pninim. She's saying more valuable than Zav Chesef. What's Pninim? He says Gevaldik. He says gold. How much does gold cost? $1,800 an ounce. How much is 2 ounces? $3,600. And how much is 3? You just keep on multiplying an ounce. Pninim is different, right, Mendy? Back me up over here. I asked Jonathan Austin this morning. He told me I'm right. A diamond, let's say a carat diamond costs $1,000. 2 carats doesn't cost $2,000. 2 carats cost $3,000. 5 carats doesn't cost $5,000. It could cost $20,000. It's like those bottles of wine, the Magnum. The 700 milliliter cost 200 shekel, Castel. Double it, doesn't cost 400, it costs 600. Because it's a nice big bottle, whatever the reason is. Fine. Says Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, Gevaldik. When you learn Torah 1 hour, so let's say HaKadosh Baruch Hu will just go on the low side, just the saber size, and it gives you $1 million. $1 million for an hour of Torah, learning the daf, you get $1 million. What if you do Chazara? You learn 2 hours. You don't get $2 million. Now you get $5 million. Because it's that much harder. It's that much greater. You hear the Vart? 1 hour plus 1 hour of learning doesn't equal 1 plus 1. It's a whole different madrega. It's pninim. It's a giant diamond. Because every hour is difficult. It's more. I thought it was beautiful.
You should have brought Rachel of crown of Yerushalayim out of pninim, not out of gold.
Woo! And she's the one that said, by the way, she's the one that said 12 plus 12 is not 24. Givaldi. Yeah. Yeah.
Thinking about cleaning like diamonds?
What?
Also bigger cleaning than big diamonds?
What's it? Pnima is jewels, is pearls. Pearl. Yeah. It's the same idea. Yeah. I don't know. I'm guessing. You go to England over there, like the giant diamond, $100 million. Why does it cost $100 million for this side? Because there's no such thing in the world. They don't make them. So when you have something large, it's just that much. Now, the Rambam just says that Talmud Torah shakol keneged kol mitzvahs. That's why it's greater. It's equal to all the mitzvahs. And then you put in the Vilna Gaon who says that every word of Torah is a mitzvah. So when I learn this daf Gemara, I'm learning hundreds of mitzvahs. It's not one mitzvah. I didn't know one daf equals one mitzvah. No, it's hundreds of mitzvahs. Lulav is one mitzvah. I go like this is one mitzvah. I got one mitzvah. Just to explain why is Torah more chashiv than other mitzvahs. Because each word is a mitzvah. So let's say each word is one lulav, but you have many words. So it's many lulavim, many mitzvahs. The Chavetz Chaim makes the whole cheshbon, you're right, with how many words you can say per minute, the whole thing. Now, so don't forget that they came to ask a question. He came for bracha. Bracha. So, Omrulei, my boy Sacha. What are you doing here? What do you want? Omalo, Domali Abba, my famous father, Shmuel Bar Yochai, your Rebbe, Zigabai de Devora. He told me to come to ask you a bracha. Omrulei, Yehiravo de Tizra v'loy techtzad. You should plant and you shouldn't reap. You shouldn't be able to reap anything. Seems like a curse. Ta'ayil v'lo tepok. You should bring in and you shouldn't bring out. Tepok v'lo ta'ayil. You should bring out, you should bring in. Lichur beisach. Your house should be destroyed. Terrible curses. V'leisav v'shpizach. And people should stay in your hotel and your inn. Libabel psurach. Your table should be disturbed. V'leitechzi shata chata. You shouldn't see the new year. Mamish, like, they come. So he comes running back to his father crying. Amalei. Not only is it not enough, they didn't give me a bracha, they cursed me out. Maybe I should stop here for a second and tell you the story about the Chavetz Chaim, famous story. Chavetz Chaim told one of his talmidim, or sent a shliach to the brisker Rav, get me a bracha. Huh? Reb Chaim Brisker? Yeah, Reb Chaim Brisker. Not the brisker, Reb Chaim Brisker. Yeah, it makes sense. So, the Talmud comes back and was scared to go into the Chavetz Chaim. Chavetz Chaim is asking, did the guy come back? Yeah. So he goes, looks for him, he says, no, what happened? Yeah. So basically what happened was, in those days in Russia, if they got you, they would work you to the bone. You wouldn't have shoes. You would have to carry all these stones everywhere. So Reb Chaim Brisker said, I'll give you the bracha to the Chavetz Chaim that he should go barefoot and carry stones. So the Bacher said, I'm not saying it over to the Chavetz Chaim. So Chavetz Chaim forced him to say it. So he said, okay, he said that you should carry stones and go barefoot. Chavetz Chaim says, wow, beautiful. What he's saying is that Mashiach should come, I should be the Kohen Gadol. Chavetz Chaim is a Kohen. I should wear the stones of the Choshen and go barefoot in the Beis HaMikdash. So he learned it from this Gemara. Omar lei, hanach kula birchas ininu. You don't chap. Every word that they said is a bracha. Tizra v'lo techtzad. You should plan that you're not going to reap. Toilet bana v'lo yimusu. You should have children, they're not going to die. You should have daughter-in-laws, and that your sons shouldn't die and let them go. In other words, they shouldn't die. You should have daughters, and their husbands shouldn't die. Here we had a beautiful chassan here. I just want to show you. Who's this? Reb Shimon Greenwald, together with Chaim Tzvi. What's his name? Peretz Chaim Levine had a chassan. He just sent me this picture. So he married off his daughter this week. It's a bracha. You never want your daughter back. She should leave and never come back. That's what they were saying. Leave, don't ever come back. Because if it comes back, it's bad news. I'm sorry, where's it? Your house should be destroyed. What does that mean? Your house should be destroyed and people should use your inn. This world is just an inn. You're a temporary person here. You're a guest. The world to come is your real house. Kirbam, in their imagination, their house lasts forever. Bekirbam, in their head. Their house lasts forever. It's unbelievable. Because you can ask Donnie Fine. We're looking at a new house, looking to build a house. We don't know what to do, right? So think to myself, we're going to build. You build. It takes 3 years here in Israel until you get the permit. Build. And then what? So I'm going to be in my 50s. How long are we going to live in this house already? Another 20 years max. Like what? Then you go to the nursing home. So you're building and building and doing all this work for nothing. People build homes as if they're going to live forever. Go straight to the nursing home, delay. You're not going to get commission on that. Maybe you do. I don't know. Kirin their loyla. That your grave should be destroyed. Your grave should be destroyed. You should never use your grave. Your table should be disturbed. We all know about this, right? Shabbos, Friday. Well, not every house, but you always look. Why by me? Why do they always fight by the Shabbos table? It's gewaldig that they fight by the Shabbos table. There's people that sit there with their wife. We had here Churi for 21 years, sat by the table with his wife. You can't even imagine. Sat by the table, just him and his wife. Nothing. There's nobody to fight. Halavai should have fighting by the table. That's what he's saying. Halavai, lebabab psurach. The table should be disturbed. So when your kids fight at the Shabbos table, take it in stride. The boys and the girls, they should be fighting. You shouldn't see the next year. What does it mean? The next year means the Shana Rishona. You should never see a Shana Rishona. Your wife shouldn't die. Bekitzer, I saw a pshat that they did this like this. They wanted him to go back. They wanted the kids to go back and get this bracha from that the father of Miriam Esther should explain it to them, and then the bracha will be stronger. That's why they said it in such a that's his pshat. As a litzanos, there's a letz that made a bet with his friend. He says, "I'm going to Chaim Twerski. Chaim Twerski is going to say bua, bracha v'atzlacha." I'm gonna make Chaim Twerski say the words bracha v'atzlacha. He says, "No, today he just says bua." So he goes to Chaim Twerski. Chaim Twerski says bua, and his friend is there. He's all excited. So the letz says buza. So Chaim said, "What?" He says, "What does bracha? What does bua mean?" So Chaim Twerski says, "Bracha v'atzlacha." So he says, yishkoyach, I won the bet. Thank you," and then he walked out. Mice of a let's. Fine. Reb Shimon ben Chalaf to iftar minei the Rav. Reb Shimon ben Chalaf to left Rav. Omalei. Huh?
What Gary said to you after that.
Zilig avei the livrach. So he tells his son, go get a bracha from him. Don't embarrass others. You hear, David? Don't embarrass others, then you won't get embarrassed. You embarrass another person, then they send you the emails and they start embarrassing you. It's a whole busha. So don't come to that matz if they have to mevayish somebody else by mistake, and then you get mevayish back. No, so what was the big bracha? Stam, he threw in some words. Bayish. This is the beautiful bracha that Hashem gave Klal Yisrael, Tanava, and he repeated it. V'chaltem, ochoy v'savoya v'ilaltem. Here's the pasuk. V'ilaltem Hashem Hashem Elokeichem, asher also yimochim lahafli, v'lo yivoy sham l'olam. And then it says again, v'lo yivoy sham l'olam. Double lashon. Why the double lashon? It's to say that if you're not going to be mevayish, you won't become mevuyash. And a woman could do jewelry on chalamayit. What does it mean? She puts in the blue stuff by the eyes, and she splits the hair. She works on her makeup and the hair. Some red stuff on the face. She used a razor to remove hair. Says the Gemara, Rav Chizda's wife, she was old enough to be a mother-in-law, and she was using jewelry. She was getting ready. I don't know. You noticed it exactly, but Rav Huna wasn't happy with this. What right does an older woman have to be mechalel chalamayit and put on makeup? He says. Says the Gemara, Amalei Halekim, Shloshon Shvuah. Afilu Yimach, your mother. Afilu Yimad Yimach, your grandmother. Afilu Mezal Kivra, she's one foot in the grave. The Amri Inchi, Bashitin Bashis, a 60-year-old woman is like a 6-year-old girl. Lekal Tavla Roata. She'll run after the sound of music. In other words, when you go to a wedding, there's no enough community between a 6-year-old and a 6-year-old. Everybody wants to dance with the music. A woman always wants to put on jewelry. I have a picture here because we have the place I used to do the weddings in Chicago as a caterer, Midwest Conference Center. So it's a retirement building, 13-story building, and in the basement, one of the rooms has like 20 devices. You know, these yellow machines that you put your hair in. It's for the retirees. These women are 90 years old. I have a picture. Not from that place, but just to make the point. This lady must be 90 years old. She's in a wheelchair. And what is she doing? She's getting her hair done. These are the machines, these things. There's no limit to the age. It's not only for 20-year-olds. Even 90-year-olds, says the Gemara. And Menmeleh for them, they're allowed to do it on Chalamayit. So we spoke about this, putting lime on the face like this. It's disgusting. You don't do it on Chalamayit. But if it comes off easily, you could do it on Chalamayit, even though it's a pain for her right now. We have to think about it's an investment now. Now is not good, but tomorrow is going to be great. Does he think about, does Refuah say that we have to be concerned about tomorrow? What now we learned in the Mishnah in Avodah Zarah. Refuah 3 days before a chaga of a guy, let's say before whatever day it is, I'm not going to say, certain yontif that they have, you can't do business with them. Why? Because they're going to thank their getchka for the money. However, says Rabbi Yehuda, that you could take money from them. That's not a good thing. Because he's going to be bitzar. He's not going to think he's avodah zara. So you see, Rabbi Yehuda doesn't hold of it. They hold that yes, right now he's in pain. But then he says, you know what? It was geschmack. I don't have any chayvus. And he's going to say thank you to the getchka. All the halachas, it's different when it comes to the Moed. You're not happy now. You're working. You're digging. You're not happy, but you have something later, something good to show for it later, and that's what's asur on Chol Moed. Ravina Omar kusi liyim peran lo'elo meitzar. The guy always in his mind, he always thought he's going to get away from not paying off the Jew. So no matter what, even if it's a good thing for him, other people will be happy in such a situation because they don't have to pay. They don't have chayvus. He's always upset. Why did I pay him? Omer Rav Yehuda. We're talking about hair removal. So if they have cyrus and they're already at an age, then you use lime for removal. Ashir fine flour. Fine means good quality. You give them some oil. It's a type of olive oil that it's from olives that didn't ripen in the third. What's this ampikinoin? It's a hair remover, and it also softens up the skin. Famous story from Gemara Shabbos, Daf Pei. Taf Leiver Aver. He smeared her one limb at a time. And Shakabo Dalad Mei Zuzah again. Dalad Mei is always a guzma, but he was able to get a very good chassan, it means, because she was good. Hava Ukuti B'Shavusei, there's a non-Jew that wanted to imitate him. Davali Barti had a daughter. Taflu B'Chat Zimno, he did it in one shot, Umeisa, and she died. Omar, Katlu Bivi Lebarti, Bivi killed my daughter. Omar Rav Nachman, Rav Bivi, the Shasi Shichra, Rav Bivi, who drank a lot of beer, by Ibn Tafla. It causes hair growth. That's why some people say maybe that's why women shouldn't drink from Avdallah. By the way, who is the only prime minister in Israel that had a beard? Golda Meir. But us, that we don't drink beer, we don't need this invention. Rabbi said, have a wonderful Shabbos. I just want to mention Shir Maseches Shabbos, 8 o'clock. Dr. Epstein, what time is Shir Maseches Shabbos? 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. New time. For next week also and the week after. Here, right here, Beis Hashem. A guten Shabbos.